Shana Tova, everyone. It's really wonderful to kick off the new year together tonight with services. I'm Rabbi Julie Roth. It's great to see familiar and new faces tonight, and together I'll be leading services with Talia Lakritz, who's back for her third year as our guest prayer leader, and our new rabbinic intern, Jacob Lipkin. We're going to join together now in a responsive reading in English on page 3, led by Carol Katzman. Now is the time for turning.
To everything there is a season, and there is an appointed time for every purpose. Now
is the time for turning.
The seasons change, as does the balance of day and night.
The birds are beginning to turn and are heading once more toward the south.
The animals are beginning to turn to storing their food for the winter.
For the earth, for birds and animals, turning comes naturally, but for us, turning does not come so easily.
It takes an act of will for us to make a turn.
It means breaking with old habits. It means admitting that we have been wrong, and this is never easy.
It means losing faith. It means losing faith. It means starting all over again, and this is always painful.
It means saying, I am sorry. It means admitting that we have the ability to change, and this is always embarrassing.
These things are terribly hard to do, but unless we turn, we will be trapped forever in yesterday's ways.
Dear God, help us to turn
From callousness to sensitivity, from hostility to love,
from pettiness to purpose, from envy to contentment.
from carelessness to discipline, from fear to faith.
Turn us around, O God, and bring us back toward you. Revive our lives as at the beginning.
As we turn toward God, each other, God, for in isolation there is no life.
Thank you. We continue now with the Baruch Hu prayer. We ask you to rise if you are able and turn to page 5. Talia will remind us of the beautiful melody we sing only in the evening services on the high holidays.
Nai, 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 nai. Yai, nai, 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 yai, nai, 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 nai. Yai, nai, 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 nai. Yai, nai, nai, yai, nai, 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 nai. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed.
Please be seated.
Umavir yom, umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamidim lo chalenu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hamariv harabi. Ki hemachayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem negei yomam v'layla ve'ahavatecha al tasir mimenu leolamim. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael b'chol meodecha, v'hayu advarim ha'eleh, asher anochi mitzavecha, hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha b'beitecha, u'v'lechtecha b'derech, u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha, u'kshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot b'einecha, u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, u'v'yisharecha. Adonai Elohechem emet. Emunah goes over the family.
In a moment, we'll pick up with a prayer for redemption. The Mi Chamocha prayer is found on page 8 at the arrow.
Umalchuto beratzon kiblu aleihem Moshe u'Miriam u'bnei Israel lechanu shira b'simcha rabba v'yamru chulam mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh norat tehilot osefet malchutecha ra'u banecha boker yam lifnei Moshe zeli anu ve'amru Adonai yimloch leolam v'ed. V'nemar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov u'g'alo miyad chazak mimenu baruch atah Adonai gal Yisrael.
Amen.
Shkivenu Adonai Elohim.
At all evening services, we have an additional prayer for peace at nighttime. And as we enter Rosh Hashanah with Israel still at war and with intensified fighting coming from Hezbollah in the north and troops in Lebanon, why don't we join together responsively in the English in the prayer for peace, and then Talia will sing the end of the prayer in Hebrew. We're on page 9 on the left-hand side. Allow us, Adonai our God, to sleep peacefully and to waken again to life, our sovereign.
Spread over us your canopy of peace. Restore us with your good counsel, and save us for the sake of your name.
Shield us. Remove from us enemies and pestilence, sword, starvation, and sorrow, and remove the evil forces that surround us.
Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, for you, God, watch over and deliver us, and you are the sovereign, merciful, and compassionate.
Ensure our going and coming for life and peace, now and forever.
May you spread over us your canopy of peace.
Baruch atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us and over all the people Israel and over Jerusalem.
Ufros aleinu sukat shalomecha, Baruch atah Ot Adonai, Hapore Sukkot Shalom, Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Amo Yisrael, Ve'al Yerushalayim.
We rise on page 10 as we announce the festival, sound the shofar on our feast day on the new moon when it is hidden. For it is Israel's law, a decree of the God of Jacob.
Tiku v'chodesh shofar b'kesel yom chageinu ki chok leYisrael hu mishpat Elohei Yaakov.
In a moment, we'll continue with the Chatzi Kaddish that will then lead into the silent Amidah on the next page, on page 11. It's our first opportunity to pray to be written in the book of life.
Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah
Amen.
Ve'alma divrach yirutei Ve'amlich malchutei V'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael V'galav izman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam le'almei alamaya yitbarach yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitale v'yithalal shmei dekudsha brichu leila leila mikol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma ve'imru amen.
We continue now with the silent Amidah found on pages 11 through 17.
Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Yaseh shalom,
Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
I'm going to give Talia a short break while Jacob Lipkin, our rabbinic intern who is a fourth-year rabbinical student at the Jewish Theological Seminary, shares a Rosh Hashanah story with us.
Thank you, Rabbi Julie. Shana Tova. I wish I could tell you that I sometimes struggle with overthinking, but that wouldn't be true because I always struggle with overthinking. I overthink what to make for dinner, which way to walk to school, Amsterdam or Broadway, for those of you who know that for West Side, and even what tie to wear, even when I know that my kiddo is going to be covering most of it. I'll be honest that I can sometimes find it hard to live in the moment and be fully present, to shut an overactive brain off and listen instead for a moment to my heart. Fortunately, Jewish history is not without its fair share of fellow overthinkers. One of them, allegedly, was the Baal Shem Tov, literally the person who carries a good name with him, the other name for the founder of Hasidism, known colloquially by the abbreviation of the Besht. I encountered the following story about the Besht in the theologian Martin Buber's famous work, Tales of the Hasidim. Buber collected stories from generations of Hasidic masters from Hasidic oral culture and recorded them, anthologizing tales of Hasidic leaders, their adventures, and their miracles. The greatest of those Hasidic masters was none other than the Baal Shem Tov, to whom many miracles and tales are attributed. Buber would have been the very first to tell you that his tales are a little bit fantastical, often exaggerating the capabilities of the Rebbes in hyperbolic, grandiose terms, genre-bending in ways that dip their toes into the realms of the supernatural. But I'm going to ask tonight that you indulge me in considering one tale of the Besht on Rosh Hashanah evening, long ago. And in the spirit of this drash, try to not overthink it. On one Rosh Hashanah evening, many years ago, the Besht was greatly troubled because it was a cloudy night, and he couldn't see what was in the sky. Now, Rosh Hashanah is also a Rosh Chodesh, the beginning of the new month. And since the Jewish calendar is lunar, that means that on Rosh Hashanah there is no moon, a new moon, and the sky should be completely empty. But on a dark and cloudy night, he couldn't confirm officially whether it was properly Rosh Hashanah. And without confirmation of a new moon, they couldn't say all the necessary prayers that evening. The Besht did everything he could, a miracle worker that he was, to alter the state of the sky. He tried reasoning with God and reasoning with the angels and with the heavens. He recalled his math and his science lessons to prove that he'd calculated that it really should be Rosh Hashanah, and the heavens should open to prove it. He racked his brains for other methods of proof, and he sat alone in his study contemplating, thinking, trying to plan for what would he possibly do if it didn't turn out to be Rosh Hashanah. The Hasidim didn't know what was going on, and knowing nothing of this, they began to dance, as they are wont to do, singing and chanting loudly, rocking back and forth in an ecstatic circle, in joyful elation. At first, they danced in the yard of the Besht's house. They got more raucous, and they came into his house. They came into his living room, and they made their way into his study, and they were dancing around him in a circle. And eventually they said, "Rebbe, join us." The Besht was about to berate them for interrupting his consideration. He was doing some important things, arguing with God. He figured that he was just on the verge of figuring out a solution, if only they would leave him alone. But they beg him, Rebbe, dance with us, join us. So the Besht isn't really given a choice as they grab him and pull him into their circle, and the Besht starts to sway just a little bit and move along to their dancing. And as the Besht joins in their dance, suddenly the clouds start to part. No moon is showing. It is Rosh Hashanah. the unadulterated joy of the masses, the sincere emotion of the heart that they brought together as a community, the communion of their souls joining together, brought about a heavenly change that no amount of thinking, no amount of a great mind at work could do. It is the soul and not the brain that has the power to change the world on this solemn day. Over the coming days, let's reorient ourselves to the needs of the soul. Let us not get too caught up in our heads planning ahead and trying to logic out the exact way in which we will do tshuva and what we can do to get out of it. May we instead center ourselves around our hearts and their needs, and may we listen to what they're saying to us as we enter the day of judgment. There is so much we don't know and many things on our minds to which we do not and cannot have the answers. But I want to invite us over the next 48 hours to set aside all the messy things that we may be thinking about. If we can just get out of our heads and stop overthinking for a few hours and unite our souls by raising our voices together in prayer, then the one thing that will be for certain is that today is indeed Rosh Hashanah, a unique day. Shana Tova. We're going to continue our service with Kaddish Shalem on page 19. Please rise if you're able.
Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'alma divrach chirutei ve'amlich malchutei v'chayechonu v'yomechonu v'chayedecho ve'Yisrael b'agala u'bizman karib ve'imeru ve'imeru Amen. Yeheshmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam le'olmei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitele v'yithalal shemei dekudashav b'richu le'ela le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amira me'alma ve'imeru Amen. Kabal tzilotonu vauton dechol Yisrael kodam avuhon di bishmaya ve'imru Amen. Yeshel amarava min shemaya ve'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru ve'imru Amen. Oseh shalom v'roma u'yoseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru Amen.
We will continue in a moment with Kiddush.
Please turn to page 224. We'll begin with Kiddush at the top of the page. In my family, everyone always sings along to Kiddush, so feel free to join me. And then at the bottom of the page, we'll have the opportunity to recite the blessing, the Shechianu, where we give thanks for being sustained in life and enabled to reach this moment. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafem. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol olam, v'romamanu mikol lashon, v'kiddishanu b'mitzvotav, v'atiten lanu Eloheinu be'ava. Et yom hazikaron hazeh, yom teruah, mikra kodesh zecher netziat Mitzrayim. Ki banu bacharta v'yotanu kiddashta mikol amim. Udvarcha emet v'kayam lad. Baruch atah Adonai, melech al kol haaretz, mekayem Mekadesh Yisrael, Melech HaKol Haaretz, Mekadesh Yisrael, V'yom HaZikaron.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'echianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'echianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Amen. L'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim.
Chaim.
We continue with Aleinu on the next page.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'ateiv gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzon, velo samanu k'mishpachot hadama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'goraleinu kechol hamolam, v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Kakatu v'toratecha Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed v'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yiyeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
You may be seated. In just a minute, we'll move towards the very end of our service with the mourners' Kaddish. And we keep in mind at this time those who died around this time of year in past years, those with the yahrzeit around this time, and all mourners. I'll invite anyone who is a mourner or who is a mourner or has a yahrzeit to please rise as we say Kaddish together on page 26. Yitgadal ve'yitgadash shemei rabba. Ve'alma divra kirutei ve'amlich malchutei. V'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei dechol veit Yisrael. V'agala u'gizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevarach le'olam omei omaya. Yitbarach ve'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. Yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudisha v'richu. Le'ela mikol birchatav shiratav tushbechatav nechemata da'amiran ve'alma v'meru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom v'mramav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Please be seated. First, I want to acknowledge that throughout services, we're honoring different members of our board by having them sit on the bima. And tonight, Carol Katzman is with us. Carol's a longtime board member. She comes from the Nutley congregation that joined with Shomrei 30 years ago, and she also oversees all of our cemeteries. And in addition to that, she loves to make announcements. So Carol, please, can you make some announcements for us?
I As many of you know, I usually don't write them out ahead of time, but for Erev Rosh Hashanah, I do. Good Yontif. Rabbi Julie, Talia, Jacob. Thank you so much for helping to put us into the holiday mood with your davening tonight. Yasher Koach. Tomorrow's services in the social hall with live streaming begin at 9:30 a.m. Tat Yom Tov services also begin at 9:30 a.m. in the tent. For a detailed listing of all services, adult, family, and teen program, please refer to your high holiday schedule on the blue card. I like it on the card, it's easier. And don't forget to get in, you need your blue wristband. And we look forward to much more davening and being inspired during the high holidays and Hashanah Tova.
I'm now going to invite Talia and Jacob to join me in our final song, Echad She'alti. If you look at the very back of your prayer book, there's a little pocket, and there's a card in it that's white. You want to look for the side that has the blue Shomrei insignia on it. Echad She'alti, these words come from Psalm 27, which we traditionally read at this time of year. We're going to sing it together in Hebrew and English. Why don't you come join us? And I just want to say, if I haven't seen you in a while, please say hello after services before you head off to dinner. Echad She'alti.
Echad She'alti Me'ez Adonai Otah Avakesh Shivti Bebeit Adonai Kol Yemei Chayai. Only one thing I ask of thee, God, only one thing that I seek, to dwell with thee in your light, God, all the days of my life. Echad She'alti Me'ez Adonai Otah Avakesh Shivti Bebeit Adonai Kol Yemei Chayai.
Shana Tova, everyone.
Shana Tova.